Hello everyone. This video will go over the working class Automas in Hegemony. The free actions of the working class are, first of all, to use healthcare, education, and luxury. And if the Automa has health, education, or luxury in a quantity equal to their population, they will use resources at the end of their turn to increase their prosperity. If for any reason the working class Automa ends up with multiple resources that can increase prosperity, it uses them all in the same turn as many times as they can afford. So they are always making use of their resources to increase their prosperity. If they're limited because of limited funds, they will prioritize luxury first, education second, and health third. For swapping workers, that is automatically performed by the working class Automa before performing the assigned workers action in simple mode. The swap workers action is automatically performed by the working class Automa before assigning workers when playing in the simple mode. For receiving benefits, that action is automatically performed by the working class Automa at the beginning of the turn. And then paying off loans, working class Automa will automatically pay off loans at the beginning of their turns. Some clarifications for the Automa player for the working class. They will normally work to buy goods and services equal to their population, but if, say, they have one or two already and their population is 3, they're going to buy enough to make it equal to 3. So they are trying to equalize it so they can make use of them. But if there's a situation where their goods and services are already equal to the population, for example, if they have a population of 3 and their education's already at 3, they will then buy as if they didn't have any of that resource, which to me that reads as they would buy another 3, so they would have double the amount. Another clarification is the idea that health should be excluded from consideration if it would lead to population increasing, but the rulebook notes that you only exclude health if there are other options to buy. If it's the only resource due to cost or availability, you would buy it as normal. The working class Automa will buy food from the cheapest source when covering needs. If there is a tie, the priorities would be foreign market first, state second, capitalist class third, and middle class fourth. When assigning workers, generally the working class will first go for any unassigned workers, so workers that are unemployed. If all of the eligible workers are employed, then the working class can reassign workers. So if they do so, take note that they cannot take away the eligibility requirements for a trade union. So if they have a trade union either in existence or they can form one, they would not take away the workers that add up to 4 if it would take away the ability to have the trade union. Additionally, they're going to prioritize working for the state versus the middle class or the capitalist class. So they'll move their workers away from middle class and capitalist companies to the state companies. When the working class Automa uses education, they will prioritize upgrading unemployed workers, but if there are no unemployed workers, they will take a random unskilled worker that is employed and upgrade them. Let's consider the cards we'll use for the working class Automa. So the regular card, similar to what we saw in the previous video, has the elements, the potential moves that can be used, the different priorities for the elections, the middle part, if the first action is accomplished, that middle part will be a bonus, and if none of the 4 actions can be used, the bottom part is what they're going to do instead. They're going to do that special action. If none of the other actions on the top row work and the special action is not available as well, then the Automa will apply political pressure and add 3 of its voting cubes to the voting bag. Unlike the capitalist player, which had 5 options for potential actions in a turn, the working class Automa only has 4 actions. So all of these will be represented on the card, but they will just be in different orders for each one. So this one had that order. This next one, you see the middle 2 were switched. Then this one, they're in a completely different order, except for strike has been consistently the last one for all 3. So it's a variety of potential orders for those different actions. What do these actions mean, and what do they do in this simple mode? We're proposing a bill for the working class player. You have to have the bill markers available, and there must be at least one policy listed on the AI card that does not match your desired policy. And if you are proposing that bill, you would look to the first one to see if that one is different on your card, and then you look at the desired policies. If foreign trade was at 6C, then you would bypass that and look to a different one. But if it was B or A, then you could use a bill to try to move it toward that 6C that you prefer. Immigration then would be the second option. You want 7B. If it's one of the other 2, then you could use that. If you are able to do that, then you can do that as the move and move on to the next turn. But if not, then you would move to the next option. Okay, so that's how the voting will go for the simple mode. For a strike, one of the following conditions must apply. The labor market has to be in 2C, or labor market has to be in 2B and at least 2 trade unions. So if the trade unions come on the table, that means strikes can happen more often. Also, there must be at least 2 companies eligible for strikes, but that does not count the public companies that are offering services for free. When you assign workers, you must be able to assign at least 2 unemployed workers to 1 or more companies, or 1 worker to a trade union. In simple mode, if you can't, and there are more unemployed workers than the number of slots available by at least 2, you can perform demonstration instead. Finally, buying goods and services, you can buy at least one of the 3 resources in a quantity that will allow you to increase your prosperity. So again, this is to get the number equal to your population, but if you have your population's worth of those goods, you can buy another set of them. So if you have 3 population and already have 3 of that good or service, you can buy another 3. The first criteria card for the working class is the strike token placement criteria. So when you place strike tokens up to the number of trade unions plus 2 on companies that are eligible for them, you exclude public service companies that offer their services for free. And if there are many options of companies that you could put strike tokens on, you prioritize this order. First of all, you prioritize automated companies first. Second, companies that are only operational ones of their industry for their owner. So if there's only one of an industry, you shut that one down. Third, the biggest difference in wages between levels. So if it is a company that goes from 20 to 30, that will be a lower priority than one that goes from 20 to 40. The biggest production is the next priority, and then random for the last one. Skilled worker criteria. When you decide which skilled worker to when you decide which skilled worker to add from the supply, use this criteria. First, if they're assigned, could form a trade union. If you have more than one option, do the ones that have the fewest available slots in companies. Or if there is an equal number, then you would do it at random. Second priority would be if assigned, they make you meet the requirements for a trade union. Third, it's the most available slots in companies. Fourth, most available slots in the unbuilt companies in players' markets. After that, health care and education, whichever public service is not being produced. Second priority, whichever is more expensive. Third priority, random between the 2. And then finally, agriculture before media, before luxury. So if skilled workers already in the unemployment pool, do not factor them in unless the existence of that skilled worker allows for the creation of a trade union. So if you have one company that is already running, let's say a luxury company, and you have a second one out there and available that the unemployed skilled worker that's a luxury worker can go and work in that company, the addition of another skilled worker in that area makes it so you can get the trade union. So that's how that would factor in. Only consider the creation of a trade union when considering the unemployed workers that already exist. The criteria for buying goods and services for the working class, first of all, they are going to prioritize free options. Second of all, if they have 3 or more unemployed skilled workers, they're going to prioritize education. Third of all, they're going to prioritize the cheapest good. This is going to exclude healthcare if it will lead to the population to increase, and there are other options available. After that, healthcare, education, luxury, public services is going to be the place to buy it first. Foreign market, capitalist, middle class. That's how they're going to prioritize. Finally, when deciding where to assign workers, the working class will prioritize, first of all, forming a trade union. Second, the most unemployed workers assigned. Third, fulfilling requirements for trade union. Next is highest wages. Next is public company, then capitalist company. Then from there, healthcare and education. And with that, whichever is not being produced, whichever is cheaper or random between the two, and agriculture, media, luxury, and then at random. So those are the cards of the simple working class Automa, and they prioritize the moves that they can make. Always reference the rule book. If you have questions, they do have some clarifications in there.